I'm joined today by a very special guest. No stranger to Woonsocket, been around here for a real long time. Glad to introduce to some and reintroduce to others my friend Gabriel Santana. Gabe, how are you?
What's up, Pastor Herson?
Good to see you, my friend.
How you doing?
I'm very excited to have you here. You know, you're, I think, my second guest that I get to interview since we've been doing the show, so I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited as well, man. This is really big for me. I love this.
Let's get right into it because we don't have a lot of time. You were born where?
I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Milford.
Milford, Mass.
Milford, Massachusetts.
And you ended up in Woonsocket soon after?
I can actually say I grew up in Woonsocket. I spent my childhood in Milford, but I grew up in Woonsocket. When you hit 12 and so on, I haven't left the city.
And you went through the school system here in Woonsocket?
I pretty much started here when I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
And continued.
All right. And you because I know a little bit about your story, you used to go to church. You were in our church for a long time.
Oh, man, I
you
grew
kind
up.
of, and it was a great upbringing. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about growing up in a godly environment.
I mean, some of the best memories I have are my upbringing, church. A lot of people have a lot of stories to tell, church, my parents made me. I don't think it was that my parents made me. I think I really loved going to church when I was a kid.
I remember you loving it. Yeah.
It was just the people and the people I looked up to, and you being one of those, and your brothers. But we had fun at church. We had fun. We loved God. It was good.
But something happened. You ended up in the streets, a little bit in the streets, not totally in the streets because your parents loved you and they took care of you, but you ended up doing some stuff that you're not proud of.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, things that there's a lot of people that have that go through what I went through. I mean, it's not something, wow, you went through a lot of things, but I think it's from the measure that I went through, it's something I almost had to experience. But after having to leave Milford, we moved to Woonsocket, and so that really impacted the way I looked at God and the way I felt, and I became really rebellious, around the age of 13. That's when I really think that I said, why should I serve God, And I almost lost my faith, but, it's not a complete loss of faith, because even if you're doing all those things, that you have to be accountable no matter what.
There's a popular song that talks about, I just prayed to a God that I don't believe in.
Yeah,
they're still praying, but they're confessing that they don't believe
exactly.
in. I think that's real. I think that's a real a common thread right now happening where people are not sure where God is, so they're kind of taking a break for him. You took a little break. Tell me about the role of music in your life growing up and how you ended up finding rap music. Is that a good one, Elio?
That's a great one. Great question.
All right.
First of all, man, my influence in music comes completely from gospel music. I mean, growing up.
No radio, no,
man.
You
I
were
mean,
attracted to...
man. Your father. We we grew up. When I was, when I first started going to church, we grew up in a very legalistic, environment where we couldn't hear much, see much of anything but Christian music, and so, thank God, there was good music around because we had the G-Boys.
Oh,
we had you, man. The illest band in town, man. Not just in town, but you guys set a standard so high in Christian music at the time. We're talking about when I first started listening to the G-Boys, I was 1986, and that was before I even came to America. This is prior America.
I'm really old.
You just don't say that, But yeah, man, Christian music, and my father's really musically inclined.
He
and
is.
So,
He loves. Yeah.
We did listen to a little Stevie Wonder here and that, a little,
Some MJ.
some, of course, Michael Jackson. That's just a whole different category. Michael Jackson was heard, in and out of my house everywhere.
Let me ask you a question. Was the music television channel out and big when you were little?
Oh yeah, MTV.
Yeah.
I think. Like right now, you got all those shows, but MTV was MTV.
Stop saying that. We can't say it on this channel.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. I mean, it was it was really good back then, and so.
Was that an influence on you too?
Oh yeah, it's part of my I think my culture, my generation, 80s, 90s transition. You know what I'm saying? Because But yeah, MTV was and even BET, but more MTV at that time.
So you have this source of gospel music that was sort of your foundation, and then you had this other influence of secular music, and how do you end up being a rapper?
Yeah, that's funny. I never thought, I love music because I used to love dancing to it. So when I was, MC Hammer, all that type of stuff, dance music. But I thought I was gonna be a singer. I thought I was gonna be like an R&B singer, But about 1995, man, it changed. Hip hop changed. 1995, Biggie came out, Wu-Tang, and started. It almost matched what I was going through, the rebellion of what I was going through.
So it resonated.
It resonated. I mean, the message that they were saying, was, when Socket at the time, when I came, wasn't the best town.
There was big gangs. There was a couple of gangs here.
There was a lot of gangs. You couldn't wear certain colors in the street. You couldn't, be caught walking alone in the street because you get jumped. I mean, it was a time in my life where it was a complete culture shock. I mean, it was shocking coming from Milford, a town where everyone knows everybody.
Yeah.
Your mother used to, tell me what to do, and I had to listen.
Sure.
But I came from that to a generation in a culture where, wow, you had to really struggle and fight every day to make it through. I mean, our school system. I mean, going to school was just, hopefully I make it out today. You know what I'm saying? And it changed.
Now, some people that live here in Woonsocket will say, are you serious? It was like that right here in good old Woonsocket.
Yeah, it was.
That was your experience. That's how you.
My experience is that you couldn't walk through certain parks because you end up either getting jumped or shot, stabbed.
Right here in Woonsocket.
Right here in Woonsocket. I mean, 1995, 96, and 97 was one of the most. I mean, I lost a lot of friends.
To jail,
to jail, to drugs, to straight gun violence.
Yeah. You ended up selling some drugs.
Yeah, I did some of that. I mean, not proud of it. I did some of that because I wanted new sneakers, because I wanted to fit in.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, man, a lot of people just sold drugs because they wanted new sneakers. They wanted to have the newest kicks every day.
Wow.
And I know other people that did for other reasons.
Were you scared when you did it?
Oh, man, I was so scared. So scared.
I'm sure you looked tough, but.
No, I didn't look tough. I was always a little kid, man. So you got that short complex, and you always got to stand out. But nah, man, I ain't trying to front. I was scared.
Yeah,
I was scared. I mean, because my boys was getting locked up, going to juvenile. I'm like, imagine me going to juvenile. My parents, my people around me.
I would have killed you.
Yeah, he would have literally. He was my youth pastor at the time. And he would have knocked me out. You know what I'm saying? But it was tough, and music at that time was tough. Yeah. It wasn't what it is now, man. It was really you had gangster
really,
rap,
real defiant.
It was really
It was
hardcore. Hardcore.
Anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-police.
Yeah. And at that time is what they call the golden era of hip hop, which it was the 90s. I mean, you got the people that you see on top now, like the Jay-Z's, the Nas, the Biggies. That's the influences of that time, the Snoop Dogg's that are still doing it, the OGs now, the older generation of the people that really set a standard for hip hop at that time.
I mean, it sounds corny, but Hammer and what are the two? The king of pop. They ain't no higher. Sucker MCs. What are those guys called? Run DMC.
Come on, man. That's
Run DMC.
see,
That's
that's
a
little bit. I mean,
before you.
82. I was born in 82, but I mean,
that was hip hop.
Honestly, listen. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't get to hip hop. To get into hip hop, a lot of people, say, no, I've been listening to hip hop. I grew up in a Christian household.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop, R&B. I wasn't even allowed to listen to the radio. I couldn't do none of that. I had the G-Boys. The first time I heard rap, like from any source, was the G-Boys. I mean, amazing.
Our rap.
Yeah.
You talk about the rap we
did,
like
yep.
Coming Back.
Coming Back. That was the first time I said I love hip hop.
Yeah, a lot of people living
day to day easy. Come on. I mean, and then with Rene Gonzalez, and now I'm gonna tell you what he's done in my life.
Oh,
I mean, when you wrote that song
for
Rene Gonzalez, I was like, are you insane? In his Spanish accent, it was amazing. And now I'm gonna tell you what it's amazing. It was amazing.
So you got this idea, and you started to go toward music. When you started going toward music, where were you spiritually?
Oh man, I was really in a rebellious stage.
So all right, so you started really loving music while you were yet pretty rebellious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very much so.